everyone, my name's Macy Riggs with SeekChooseB.com. Wanted to share with you today about diagnosing anxiety and depression, which might be an interesting topic since I am not a doctor and I don't diagnose that. But I have been there where I've been diagnosed with that, and there's some things that I wanted to talk about today about that that I believe are important that don't get talked about enough, and just share my experience a little bit and give some tips and helps to those that might be wondering if they need to see a doctor about it or just kind of look into some things to do for them. And that's what I am all about at SeekChooseB.com. So be sure and tune in and see all of my information and things that I share along the way. So diving right in, first off, when you feel like you might be depressed or have some anxious feelings, sometimes it can feel scary or overwhelming. A lot of us don't even know what depression or anxiety might look like or feel like. Unless you know somebody who's been there, then you might have a little bit of a grasp on it. But the biggest question is this what I'm experiencing, and how do I get help for that? And what does that all look like? And I'm here to tell you a little bit about that. So with my experience, I was 20 years old and I had had my first baby, a little girl, beautiful. And I remember bringing her home from the hospital, and normally your emotions are high and your hormones are high, and so everything can feel a little off kilter, and you can cry a lot and have that postpartum period where you're just a little off and you cry a lot and things like that. Well, mine was a little bit deeper than that and harder to deal with, and I just didn't know what was going on. And I had enough depression and things going on in my family that I knew enough to go talk to my doctor about it, because it was a concern for me, and it just felt very overwhelming, and it was kind of a harder place to be. And I vividly remember being at the doctor with my mom because, I was 20 and young, and I'd had my baby, and telling him all these things, and he made me fill out this little, questionnaire about how I was feeling, and talked to him and answered some questions. And my diagnosis was mild to moderate depression. And I just remember those words. I'm like, mild to moderate. Okay, so it's not severe. What do I do? What does this mean for me? And am I always going to feel like this? And that really started my journey with doctors and medication and good times, bad times, and all of the in-between. And I will share that with you on my journey of sharing more videos. There's so much more to share of the things I've experienced and learned on this journey of my life. And I know there's a lot of those out there that can relate to this. And that is my whole purpose. Myself and my husband starting SeekChooseB.com and being able to bring awareness to that, but also other things that we've learned that can immensely, help you in life. And we're excited to share. So with diagnosing anxiety and depression, my big thing that I tell people that ask me is, if it's a problem for you, then it's a problem, and it's okay to go seek out a healthcare professional. And that's the first step. So when we have those questions like, do I have this? What do I do? Am I always going to feel this way? Am I going to have to take medication? And what is that going to do to me? Am I, going to feel like this all the time? And so it can be overwhelming. I will say I've been through several different times in my life where I've had to go back and do different types of medications or different types of things. So different things in my life brought it back or brought on those feelings again. And I love that people say, if you are feeling, suicidal or need help, make sure you get help. Just speak up, just ask. And I love that. On the flip side of that, as the person struggling, it can be scary to ask for help, to admit that you feel weak, to admit that you're not the strong person you always felt like, especially if you have anxiety over something as well. And that's something else, that I'll share along my journey as well. It's hard for us sometimes to admit when we're weak and know that we need strength from others, and not knowing if the reaction from the other person is going to be what we want it to be. Will we really get the help if we open up? That can be a scary feeling too. And it can be scary to mouth those words to a loved one, or, it's not something you can really show somebody, like a wound or, a broken arm or something. It's just feelings. It's inside of you. And so it can be hard to explain, and you don't know how somebody's going to perceive that. I feel like we've come a long way in this day and age that more people are understanding. So I think that's a benefit when you do reach out to somebody, that they might point you in the right direction or hold your hand, through it all. I think the scariest thing is those first words of admitting it to people. And so when someone says get help, it depends on what state you're in. Sometimes you're so far gone down into this dark place, and your thoughts aren't really coming from a great place. So they're almost skewed. Instead of being like in your normal state of mind, everything feels scary or it feels harder. Your thoughts are telling you all sorts of things like, don't burden them with this. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to appear weak. What are they going to think? Like, it can spiral out of control. So to tell that person to get help is great, but understand, those of you that do need to get the help, I get it. It's scary. But I promise you that as you reach out and get the help, it'll be so worth it, because the main goal is your life is worth fighting for. It is. Even if you can't feel it right now, it is. I promise you that it is. And those are just feelings that you're feeling. Those feelings, as hard as they hurt physically, they really can't hurt you. They're there. It's hard to explain sometimes, but they're there. But they can't hurt you, but they do hurt. And I know what that feeling feels like. So what I want to talk about with diagnosing anxiety and depression is, first, opening your mouth and getting help. So who do we reach out to? It depends on your situation. Reach out to people you trust. You don't have to say it to the rooftops to everybody and their dog. Say it to the people you care about most. And if they don't get it right away, say it again. No, let them know this is important and this is something that you're struggling with and that you need help. And then what getting help looks like. If you're in severe suicidal mode, it's going to look like a visit maybe to the ER, to be honest. And they're going to ask you a bunch of questions, and you are going to have to open up, and it might feel a little scary. But keep in mind, you can have somebody with you that cares about you, that loves you and can help and be there to support you. If you're going to a doctor or a counselor, make sure you can prepare beforehand and write down questions, write down experiences and things that you've been through that you want to share with them, so they get the gravity of what you're feeling and they understand your circumstances. So you can prep for that. You can ask somebody to go with you. There is no shame in getting help. There is no shame in taking somebody with you. There's no rules to this other than open your mouth and make sure they understand how you feel. Okay, so that's the first step, and it takes strength. And you may not feel like you have any strength, but it's so important that you do this step, okay? So for anyone out there that has a loved one that comes to them and you're not sure what to do, there's a lot of resources that I want to share with this post that I'm doing along with this on my website. But I think the most important thing is to listen and make them know that they're not alone, and let them know that you're there and that you understand. You do not have to take this on and save them. You just have to be a support. So recognize that you don't have to take all that on. Sometimes we can feel overwhelmed. And reach out to seek professional help as well. So let them know you're there, that you can be with them, that you can help them, and that you're with them through the journey. Okay, and you could even get a group of people that care about this person if you feel like you need support, to support them. I think that's an important step too. All right, so when you go to get the help, they're going to bring up different things, talk to you, ask you questions, see where you're at. And this is a hard subject just because so many people have different views on what that help looks like. Whether it's counseling, psychiatrist, there's so many alternative things out there too, but let's just, depression and anxiety medications. We've heard lots of things, especially younger people can be on them. It can cause suicidal thoughts, and there's actually been people that have had bad experiences with that. I will say my own personal experience through the years of off and on medications and the things that have worked for me. throughout the years. I am actually so grateful for medications. It has saved me. It has helped lessen the feeling of it, and I'm so grateful for it. Will I tell everyone you need to go do meds right away? No. I will say you need to talk to a healthcare professional because I am not one. But I will share with you that I have been on medications. I've had ones that worked great, had a few side effects, and I've experienced one medication that was not a good experience, that it kind of, caused my thoughts to be crazy, and I was not in a good place, and so I had to go off of that one. And I made sure I wrote that one down. I will never touch that one again. I won't tell anybody which one that one was. Keep in mind, what works for one person does not work for everybody. So I will not be saying, oh, do this, this, and this, and you'll be all good. No. But that will be between you and those professionals that you choose to work with. I will say, when you go to speak to those doctors and professionals and counselors, make sure you're comfortable with them. If there's something that you're not, liking what they're saying or matching up with personalities, it's okay to shop around for a different counselor or a different doctor. Do keep in mind sometimes it takes a while to get into some of those professionals, and it may take some time to, get those appointments set up. So you do need that support in the meantime till you can get in to get the help that you need. There's other things besides medications that you can do, especially even just healthy wise, with sleep and drinking enough water and exercise. I know we hear that all the time, but it's true. It's true, guys. The more we take care of our bodies and give ourselves rest and give ourselves a break. You are struggling with something and it's new to you, or you've struggled for a while and you're just needing help. So be aware to just take care of yourself a little bit. And I know it's hard, and it'll be okay. All right, so that's kind of the basics of it. I did write out a post on this as well, but I wanted to just reach out and be real with you guys that I've been there a few times of having to say, I'm struggling, I'm not okay. And it doesn't come out like this. It's hard. It hurts. It's painful. It's scary. It's overwhelming. And you lose that hope. You lose that strength. And you will get it back, I promise. But the purpose of all of this, of me doing this, is that I want more awareness around this. I want people to know what it's like. I want them to know what resources are out there for them. And I want to give you tools that I've learned and will continue to learn more tools. There's so much out there we can do to better our lives, better our minds and our spirits and our hearts against all of this. It sounds easy, but it takes work. And there might still be bad days and there might be good days, but celebrate the good, and you just push hard through the bad and you grab that strength, and we'll do it together. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or have comments on the post on seekchoosebe.com. Look for our blog post for diagnosing depression and anxiety that goes along with this. It's right on this page, or if you're on the YouTube channel, visit our site. And I'm excited to share more with you. You'll hear some more from my handsome husband who's been through this journey with me, that will share some things with you as well. So keep joining us. We're excited to have you, and you have a great day.